Thanks everyone for being here. We'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Coach Drinkwitz making a statement. He'll take a few questions, and then we'll take questions from Coach Moore.
All right. Yep. Hey, first off, good luck to our basketball team today. Awesome to have another sellout. And, man, I know Coach Gates and the whole athletic department is fired up about the fan support that the basketball team's getting right now. And so appreciate that and look forward to a great game today. You know, after the bowl game, it was clear to me that needed to take a step back and really evaluate what we need to do as a program to continue to move forward. You know, every opportunity to make a hire is an opportunity to improve your program and see how you can improve. You know, I felt like last year we did a really good job on the defensive side of the ball, really strengthening that side of the ball and improvement, and then going back and evaluating what we're doing offensively. It just came very clear to me that the requirements of a head coach were causing me not to have full focus on the offense, and I needed to hire somebody who could come in and understand the vision that we have for offensive football, the vision that we have for our program, and then go score some more points, all right? Because at the end of the day, we got to score more points in order to be successful in this league. And so started doing a lot of research, had a lot of interest in the opportunity, but really felt like somebody that stuck out in a positive way was Kirby. Obviously, Kirby has a great history of coaching in his mentors. His dad was a longtime high school football coach, very successful. He's been around some of the best in the business, and currently, you know, was trained by both Coach Tedford and Coach DeBoer. Spoke with Coach DeBoer at length about Kirby and just felt like this is the right decision. We had a couple of Zoom calls, in-person interview on January 1st, and very excited to welcome Kirby as our new offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. With that, I'll take y'all's bullets of questions, and then I'm out of here. I'm going to turn it over to Kirby and let him face why we couldn't score on third down.
Coach, on those preliminaries,
Hey, I like it. Yes, Natalie said I'm up first.
on those preliminary Zoom calls that you had, you know, with Kirby, what was something that stuck out in your guys' conversations, and how did you feel like you guys absolutely matched?
Yeah, I think the first thing about Kirby is his attention to detail, his organization. Honestly, the thing that I really evaluate about coaches is their urgency. Like, you can tell somebody who is quick to answer a phone call, quick to return text, and that's Kirby. And when somebody's like that, they're really excited about the future and the opportunity, and really felt like he did a great job of those things. And you know, he's a little bit younger and eager to prove himself. He's got the right kind of chip on his shoulder, which is something that I look forward.
Eli, a lot of coaches say it does take a couple years of sitting in that seat to understand how to budget time and everything. So what does this free you up to do during the week?
Recruit, raise money for NIL, oversee the relational aspect. You know, in 2019 and 2020 when I was first here, recruiting was just about recruiting prospective student athletes, and you're only signing 25. Now you have to recruit everybody in your building, coaches, players. You got to recruit boosters, you got to recruit fans, and so that's a large majority of my time as far as specifically in the last 2 years, and I think everybody's feeling that now.
Eli, did you get to a point during the year where you were dead set on hiring somebody from the outside, even before Bush left, or
No.
More after the year?
No, you know, I was very adamant with our coaching staff and with everybody that I was not going to make any firm decisions until after the bowl game, and felt like I needed to have that chance to step away from the emotion of the season and really try to figure out exactly what we needed to do moving forward. That's just kind of my process of making decisions. I don't want to make emotional decisions.
Was it a hard choice to add an OC, or something you had trouble letting go and so?
I mean, I love coaching quarterbacks, and I love the designing of plays and calling plays, and there's really nothing better, Kirby will tell you, than Monday seeing something on film, practicing all week, and then calling it in that perfect spot, you know, and it scoring a touchdown. That's as good an adrenaline rush as there is. So I'm going to miss that part of it, absolutely. But at the same time, I ask our guys all the time to embrace your role and put the team first. And at the end of the day, that's what I needed to do as the head coach, embrace what I need to do to help our team be successful. And you know, I was adamant that I wasn't going to do it unless I found somebody who could do it better than me. And I know Kirby. I know how hard he's going to work. I've seen what he was able to do. He's faced adversity. I think the games that I really wanted to watch and evaluate were the games against Power 5 opponents when maybe they were a little bit outmatched from a scheme standpoint. I wanted to watch when it wasn't going good. How did he respond? I mean, you look at the game against San Diego State, down 10, maybe even 13 with about 5 minutes left to go in the game, and to, as a coordinator, to have your back against the wall, not playing good, and figure out how to call plays and move the ball. Really well against Washington State, really well versus Oregon State, really well versus USC, and to play the championship game the way they did, from an offensive standpoint, I was very impressed. One thing that I failed to mention was just the amount of championships that Coach Moore's been around. I mean, he's been a champion as a player, as a coach, and I feel like he's got the criteria that we're looking for.
Was there anything in Kirby's background or scheme that you felt maybe missing in what you guys do that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think he does a great job of designing play, throwing the football, quite honestly. I think, you look at us offensively the last 2 years, we weren't effective enough pushing the football down the field and throwing the ball. And, Kirby's a wide receiver at heart, and so he's going to always want to get the ball to those playmakers in space. And so I just watching him, I think he does a really good job of setting up the offense through the pass game. And that's something that we got to be better at, and look forward to him adding that.
When Blake came in, he made a big deal about it's easier for me to learn what they're already doing in their terminology than them to learn a brand new thing. Hey, what's it look like as far as, is this a similar offense? Is it an overhaul terminology-wise, or have you guys discussed that?
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions. For us, it's all preference versus performance, and we're going to do what's best to help our performance. I've asked Kirby, and we're going to take a look at it over the next, 7 to 10 days on what he can assimilate, what he feels like we can take off of our current players and teams. Some of the same questions that I had for Coach Baker and asked him to do are the same things that I've asked Kirby to do as we do that. As I've said before, and as Coach Baker said before, this is our offense at the University of Missouri. This is our defense at the University of Missouri. We're going to give him the ingredients. He's going to cook the meal. All right. So we'll figure out how we call. If we call 2-by-2 formation, the exact same thing we called it last year, how we motion and how we shift. That gives our guys a leg up this spring. How he's teaching the route concepts, and more importantly, as an artist, how he's painting the picture. That's going to be up to him and his vision for the offense.
Thank you, Mr. Coach Drink. Other questions for Coach Moore?
I'm going to exit the stage and let him have it. So appreciate y'all. Somebody parked in a board of curator spot. Better get out of here.
Coach, Gabe DeArmond with Power Mizzou and Rivals.com, kind of along the same lines of what I asked Eli. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with what they've done offensively in the past, but how close is it to your philosophy?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. We talked about this through the process, and in terms of offensive football, Coach Drink references rhythm, right, attack, execute, and for me, there's a lot of various rhythms, and I probably use the word tempo a little bit more, and so that's something that's going to be a big part of our offense. And we still want to attack, right, on a consistent basis. In terms of my mindset as an offensive coordinator, it is, right, they have to defend us. And so I think that's really important. And then at the end of the day, yeah, it comes back to execution, which is, right, all offensive football.
Kirby, for you, what stood out about, Coach Drinkwitz and what he's built here at Mizzou so far?
Well, I think I've always followed from afar in terms of, right, his career and all the success he's had. In terms of, I was exiting Boise as a player when he was coming in. And so there's a lot of people probably secondhand who we both have relationships with and have heard a ton of good things over and over and over.
Kirby, I don't want to put your offense in a box. I'm Dave Matter with the St.
Yep.
Louis Post-Dispatch. Don't want to put your offense in a box, but how would you just describe it in a few words, like what your scheme, what your vision is?
Yeah. I think offensive football, first, it's got to fit our personnel. And so that's one thing I got to dive into, and our offensive staff and Coach Drink, and we got to figure out what our guys do well and then do that over and over and over. So I don't think you can just say, hey, your offense is this. I think it comes back to what fits our personnel, what fits our quarterback, running back, offensive line. And then at the end of the day, it comes back to we got to take care of the ball, we got to be explosive, and we got to score more.
Gerard Hamilton with Power Mizzou and Rivals. I don't know if you got to take any look at the film of Brady Cook. Obviously, he's going through torn labrum injury, but what have you seen, and what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I thought Brady really finished the year well there in terms of we communicated, what is today, Saturday? Yeah, we communicated a couple days ago. And in terms of, he's going to be in the rehab process here, but he can still do a lot of things above the neck in terms of learning the game and learning the offense. And in terms of just really excited to get to work with him. I've heard a ton of good things.
I'm sure you've seen a thing or two from Luther Burden on tape. You know, what's a guy like that bring to an offense like this, and all as well as the wide receiver room as a whole?
Yeah, receiver room's really strong, and in terms of one of the phrases when I talked about taking care of the ball, right, be explosive. A lot of that comes back to the receiver room. And in terms of we can drop all the different routes and concepts, but we still got to find those guys who can either separate down the field, take a 5-yard option route, right, and take it 25, and that can really get your offense going. So I'm just excited to work with those guys.
Kirby, Matt Stahl, Columbia Tribune. Given that it's Eli's fourth season, is there pressure on you like this needs to get right, like right now?
I think there's pressure anywhere you go, right, in terms of football and winning. And no, I'm just really excited for the opportunity and to be here and compete against, right, some of the best teams across college football, and really just looking forward to working with our offensive staff.
You're, I don't know, 7.5 weeks from spring football. So what do those weeks look like for you as far as if you do install a bunch of new terminology, how much time you can spend with the guys, all that?
Yeah, be busy. And in terms of recruiting, right, evaluation, right, what stuff fits, what stuff can stay. And so, yeah, it's going to be a huge, thorough process that we're going to go through in terms of our staff and with our players. And, it'll be very busy. And then in terms of spring ball, just making sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's with what we're presenting to our guys.
Coach, what did you learn about yourself in your first season as a play caller and OC at Fresno State?
I think anytime you get into that role, right, it's the first time when things aren't going well in terms of finding solutions. And everyone in the stands can point out the problems, right? It's the people who can actually find the solutions, right, and get you back on track. And so in terms of that, that's probably what I learned. And we had some difficult situations throughout the year, and your confidence probably increases. And so it was a successful first year.
Maybe off the field a little bit, culture-wise, what do you hope to bring to this offense from what you had at Fresno State?
Yeah, I would say in terms of Marion, philosophy-wise, there's a lot of similarities. And in terms of probably just big picture conceptual learning in terms of for our personnel, and when I mentioned this earlier, just they have to defend us. And really trying to figure out what our guys do well and what they have a lot of confidence in, and check my ego at the door. And I might really like a play or a concept, but that doesn't mean we should run it, right? It's got to be comfortable for the quarterback, for the receivers, and so they're playing fast. Big phrase, I don't want them thinking, right? I want them just reacting out there.
I think most guys who get to your point, like who have worked for offensive coaches, take a little bit from this and a little bit from that. Having worked with Kalen and Chris Peterson and Jeff Tedford, is it a mix of things you've learned from all those guys? Or?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there's a lot. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of really good people, and that goes back to, right, I had some binders sent here from 2013 Boise, right? And so there's some things there. There's some things working at Washington for Chris Peterson, and Jonathan Smith is a huge mentor of mine, who's the head coach at Oregon State, and then Jeff Tedford and Kalen, and so there's a lot of different wrinkles, and it could be terminology, it could be conceptual. I think anytime you get into this chair for the first time, it's figuring out, hey, this really fits, I really like that, right? And figuring out, hey, this is the offense that I think in terms of all those things that fit.
Kirby, when your playing career ending, did you know it was immediately into coaching, or how did that decision?
Yeah. No, I was fortunate to. I did work a day job there for about 6 months in joint replacement. Realized I didn't really like blood, and but College of Idaho is a small NAIA school outside of Boise, and was able to get my feet wet and be the receiver coach there for the fall of 2014, and then went to Washington, which was Coach Peterson's second year. But growing up around the game, right, I knew really, yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Understand football is football, but especially when it comes to the recruiting piece, you know, your entire career has been out west, now moving to an SEC school in the middle of the country. What challenges are there?
Those are understandable. It's a fair question, and definitely got to get a little bit better, probably lay of the land. I still think recruiting comes back to consistent communication, and in terms of being relatable and meeting guys where they're at. And I think if you display the ability to help someone reach their goals, I think they're going to be interested in this place, right? And our offense.
Anything else? All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.